The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of its hosts, guests, or callers, and do not necessarily represent the opinions of WTBR-FM, its management, other producers, or sponsors.
Well, the Good Wallace didn't get herself ejected in the state final for some dumb stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to say I dreaded showing up to this football game on Friday night, but
yeah, we'll see what happens.
like, if you want to talk, you have to talk into the microphone. There we go. Mic to mic.
I'm lost.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 89.7 WTBR-FM Pittsfield, 88.1 WSBR Lee. This is the Bird's Eye View. It is a rainy Thursday morning. Jesse and Mike here in the booth. It just felt like a rainy morning this morning because I woke up and I didn't have a nosebleed like in bed, but I essentially had a nosebleed in bed, which was not how I really wanted to start my day.
How do you not have a nosebleed in bed, but have a nosebleed in bed?
Like, it wasn't like while I was sleeping. Like I was up. You know, like you're up. You're not just like lying there on your phone endlessly. Okay. I was up and I blew my nose.
Oh dear.
And then I was like, oh, there's more. There's more coming out. And then it was blood, not snot.
Okay.
So then I was like, ugh. And I go over to the bathroom, and yeah, I had to deal with that.
Oh dear.
So yeah, that was a fun way to start the run. I get them like when it's super dry.
Yeah. Changing the season. Yeah.
Right, but like
we were outside. We were outside late last night in the
that's
cold.
True. I had a bowl of water on my radiator, so it was like I thought I was taking the precautions. I had some windows open to help with the not stale air, and it was raining, so that would bring in moisture.
That's the Pittsfield apartment way. Bowl of water on the radiator.
And that's the old wives' trick, right?
Well, humidifier would, I suppose, work, but
that's money, man.
I know that's what I'm saying. That's the young man in the Pittsfield apartment way with the radiator that doesn't turn off. You just make it work for you.
The trick I learned from my mom was the damp rag.
Okay,
but my radiator, the paint job isn't great, so I'm not trying to get metal flakes on my rags. So
lead, yeah, probably.
Hopefully not. We're gonna pretend that's not the case. So I did change. I used to have a ceramic bowl, but I put in a metal bowl because metal's more transitive for heat.
Sure. I was researching ways to cook popcorn kernels the other day because I didn't want to use the stove and make a ton of noise because it was late at night when I want to eat popcorn in my house and everyone's asleep. But I have a stove in the basement, but it's not plugged in. I don't know if it still works. I do have a microwave down there, but I only have loose leaf popcorn.
I mean, yeah, you can put it in a paper bag and
I don't know who has paper bags.
I guess you don't have your kids aren't old enough to go to like
sack
first
lunch.
grade.
Yeah. So I didn't have any paper bag. That seemed to be the way to go. But people were like, "Oh, bowl, but be careful, don't." And put a plate on top. Oh, but my plate broke. Yeah. I never had gone to Reddit before up until like a year ago, and now it seems like that's where everything guides me to. Anytime I look up a question, it's like, oh, go to Reddit.
Like the issue with Reddit is that it has some of the best and most interesting information you're ever going to find, and it's also the scum of the earth, all like within the same nanoseconds.
Accidents will click,
yeah. So you really do have to be careful. No, the paper bag.
That's the method.
That's the method. The only issue with that one is like if you pop it on the stove, which is the best method of doing it.
Sure. Yes. We have the whirly pop. To this day, I've been married 7 years now.
You should remember that.
7.
Hopefully your wife is teaching and not
7.
Not
it's more of a math issue than a remembering the date issue.
Either way,
to this day,
concerned.
I think the best gift we got for the wedding was the whirly pop. It's from my cousin Katie. Shout out Katie. She got married this summer. It's like it's a big pot, like a thin aluminum pot with a top. And then like a set of gears that goes from a crank that turns a gear going down that spins a like wire stick on the bottom that keeps the popcorn from burning on the bottom. And you just kernels, oil, and then you just crank that thing.
Oh, so you can use. I pulled the picture. I know what you're talking about now. Yes. I'm with you.
Did I paint a word picture for everyone?
Yeah. Okay, if you can put oil in there, that's fine. Like the air poppers, I think are stupid because then the salt doesn't adhere to the popcorn, and then people go, oh well, you can put melted butter. I'm like, well then what's the point,
Yeah.
So
you're
that's why the pot. That's why the pot is the pot is the best version because you got to put the oil.
Long story short, I didn't have popcorn.
All right, well that's tough. I mean, if you have
Makes too much noise.
If you have a microwave down there, you could also just get like microwavable popcorn. You could get
Yes. These are problems that you run into at 1 a.m. when you're like, I want to watch Smile in my basement after work, and I don't have any of these things.
That's true.
My beer fridge is like empty. These are all like first world problems over here.
Yeah, no, you can solve all those problems. You really can. Well,
A long way of saying we were up late last night covering 2 Western Mass Championship games.
Yeah, so the Western Mass Championship games for Class C soccer, boys and girls, had been scheduled for BCC yesterday, Wednesday, for quite a while. And probably, I mean, the first one was going to start at 5. And like day of probably about 2 o'clock, 1 or 2 o'clock is when they decided to move the Class D boys soccer game to BCC as well. That was a shock to everybody. And it was not expected.
I didn't know if it was always planned that way or not.
I believe it was not always planned.
When I tell you well, you can explain what happened, but the momentary panic I had pulling him to BCC at 4:45 and seeing boys play soccer and the scoreboard read like 5 minutes left in the second half. And I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
What did we miss?
Yeah. No, thankfully not us. But so that meant that Turner's Falls and Munson, the 2 teams in Class D on the boys' side in the finals, were suddenly at BCC, which meant that another game was at BCC. And then you get the danger of who's going to back up now a triple header of action. And sure enough, Turner's Falls let there be a backup because Turner's was up 3-0, and with 7.5 minutes left in the game, Munson scored 3 goals. And all of a sudden, they went to overtime, and then they went to double overtime, and then went to penalty kicks. And Turner's did win on PKs, so they avoided a stunning 3-0 collapse. Truly would have been a generational collapse, but it meant that everybody got pushed all the way back. And so the Greylock girls, who were facing the Munson girls, so Munson played in 2 back-to-back games, first on the boys' side, then on the girls' side. Munson and Greylock girls in Class C were pushed back some like 45 minutes to an hour.
Over an hour, I think, by the end of it, yeah.
And so Greylock girls did win 2-1 Class C. They go back-to-back. They beat Munson for the 2nd straight year in the Class C championship game. And then the boys' game, which is what I was there to cover, they didn't start till little past 8:15, which they were supposed to start at 7. So, they were pushed all the way back. I was worried I was going to miss deadline. We got pretty close. And so anyway, then the boys finished up around like 9:50 by the time the plaque was presented and all that.
Finished in air quotes.
Yeah, finished in air quotes. They won 3-0. Greylock boys now a 3-peat. 3 straight Class C championship games. They beat Smith Vocational, which was the 3 seed. Greylock was the 1 seed. They beat Smith Voc 3-0. So yeah, it was certainly a night. Yeah, we'll talk about the girls in a game in a second. But yes, as Mike alluded to, it was certainly one of the endings of all time. So it's 3-0 at half. Greylock was dominant. They were the better team. They scored 3 goals at halftime. Second half, Greylock way more chances, just can't get anything to go. They're pulling them a little bit. The Smith Voc keeper made some really nice saves. He did. And then, there had been some cards on Smith Voc. A couple were just, general collisions. There was one that was very obvious that, Smith Voc player and a Greylock player going out near the sideline for a ball. And Smith Voc just clearly just gives him a forearm, pushes him right in front of the official. So it's like, all right, well, that's right in front of the official. What do you expect is going to happen? And there was I think a big one was there was a collision near midfield in the Smith Voc area, but near midfield. Mm-hmm. And it was number 5 for Smith Voc, and he and Everett Bayless collided. And it was called on the Smith Voc player, which I didn't hate the call. The Smith Voc player, he was one who had started contact, who initiated contact. They were both going for the ball, but he made the contact, and he was very clearly trying to push Bayless out of the way. Bayless's elbow, he was just kind of caught with his elbow up, and so the Viking hit him, and then Albert Bayless is a big kid, The Vikings kid was taller, but he was just skinnier, and he fell. So it looked like he took the worst of it, and it was whistled. It was on him because he initiated the contact. And it was just going to be a free kick, and then one of his teammates mouthed off to the officials, so he got a card because he mouthed off to the officials. And there was a couple other Voc cards, and then with less than 15 minutes in the game, they get whistled for something else, and all of a sudden, oh, what's up, Hank? What's up, Hank? You're looking at me from around the corner.
As Kendrick Perkins once learned, they add up.
They add up. And so, there he's going off. Oh, yep, don't let him, Hank's gonna be an engineer. The amount of times that he looks to play with the equipment, the computers, and all that.
No doubt.
We got to get you as an internship here at TBR or PCTV. Anyway, less than 15 minutes left in the game, and there's a long conversation with the officials, and we're so irritating because it's late. The Grey Luck's gonna win. It's
We're
cold.
already there an hour and a half after we planned.
Yeah,
on
I'm
being
like,
there,
come on, man, come on. What? And then eventually they bring the kids back to the respective sidelines. Like, what's going on? I hear them asking for the site director, and the rumor had been like, oh, they're gonna eject the fans. So they need the site director there, and they need all the I'm like, they're getting like the cops, to make sure that it gets smoothly done. Because there have been a couple of Smith Voc fans that were really going crazy. And then so I'm walking over because there was a little powwow between the officials and the site managers, and then I was just, all right, line up, handshake, like, oh, what? Game over. And so the MIAA rules state if you get 5 cards in a game, it's an automatic forfeit. And Smith Voc had gotten its 5th card, and so it was right there, you're done. So the coach wasn't happy. The kids were livid. And they were making sure all the officials, all the site directors were there for the handshake line, and then to keep the two teams separate. And then, of course, to make things even longer, they had the Smith Voc leave first so that they weren't around. So then Grey Luck didn't do its plaque presentation until they were gone. And then they're leaving, and then the coach screams, "You better not be leaving until all the trash is picked up by the bench," which, to be clear, is the correct coaching decision. That was good coaching from him, but it also just made the whole process take even longer. And so it was just a very, very, very long night.
Lingered. It was awkward, but I was like, you're not going to stop these kids from celebrating.
Yeah.
Clearly they had a plan
yes.
set out before the game, which
credit to whoever made the flag for Grey Luck. It looked like a big
cool.
carpet,
Yeah. I don't know if maybe it's like an old heirloom. I don't know. I did not.
Perhaps.
There was no time to ask about it, unfortunately.
No.
Given that we were up against it.
They did one picture. I was like, all right, that's enough. And then they started talking about like which special stuff. And I was like, no. Will Kofi, get over here. You're here now. And so they're happy. They won their 3rd straight for as seniors. So the
story, it's this Class C since its inception. Now Grey Luck has been in every single all 10 Class C championship games, 5 on each side, and now they've won
3 on the boys' side, 2 on
5,
the girls.
so they've won half of them. Going into this game last year, I'd written the preview. And I was like, the good news is, yes, Grey Luck has been in every single Class C final. And now the bad news, they're like 1-8 in those games,
yes,
or something like that. So the tide has turned a little bit in Mount Grey Luck's favor the past few years, now the past 3 years. So you asked because they've gone through some coaching changes over the last couple of years. This is not like a string of dominance by any one group kind of deal. And I had the thought this morning, like, is Tom Ostheimer just like the Bill Parcells of... Well,
Bill Parcells won 2 titles.
He did, I suppose. Not with the Patriots, though.
Oh, you think of him with the Patriots?
I'm saying he
Pete
designed...
Carroll. He's Pete Carroll.
No.
Because Pete Carroll took the Patriots to the title game, but he didn't
win.
But
the bulk of the Patriots, like that 3 and 4 years, I believe that team was kind of built by Bill Parcells more so than Pete Carroll, who was there for meh. I suppose, yes, there was a coach in between there, so you would think Pete Carroll is Natalie Harris then, I guess.
But Natalie Harris won.
She did win, yes. But I don't know what it is. It's just this class, and it's not like a huge senior class or anything, but this kind of group that's been going through the past few years is just really good, really strong. Some really, really high-level athletes. And soccer is, it's kind of, I guess, become a way of life at Mount Greylock.
And they also, I think, especially for the seniors and juniors, especially because it's Greylock, so a lot of them have been playing since they were 7th and 8th graders.
Yes.
But I guess we're more speaking on the girls' side. We should talk about the girls' game. Because we just
I consider Rowan Apazos like a member of this class that's been going through, and I believe she's only a sophomore.
Yeah. Well, my point being that, they lost to Munson a lot.
Sure.
And so, they took their lumps early on, and now they have the knowledge and they have the maturity to handle, being up there, being in the finals.
This win was really just it was just confidence. Like, if they didn't win last year, I don't know that they win this year.
Right.
And last year was like complete 50-50 proposition, 94 minutes of scoreless soccer, and they got the goal.
Yeah,
because they got down.
Greylock girls 2-1 Munson.
Yes,
2-1 win over Munson.
2-1, but it was 1-0 Munson. Munson got the goal first. Hannah Murphy scored her 210th career goal, and you're looking at it like, because this is the one concern that I had. If Greylock gets down, if Hannah Murphy gets off.
We should say Hannah Murphy is from Munson. She is the all-time leading goal scorer in Massachusetts history.
And that was like the kind of deal, because I've seen that game where Greylock gives up an early goal to Munson, and then it's over. It's 4-0 Munson by the end. And I just think this team was, one of Blair Dills' quotes, the new coach, was we've been averaging about 4 goals a game this season, so we kind of knew that they would come. And I think they just have that level of confidence now that they're going to score eventually, that giving up a goal in the 11th minute was not as big a deal as it was 3 years ago. Whether earned confidence or not coming off of last year's win, like they're there, they feel good about themselves. They have very high level goal scorers. They have a lot of athletes on the front line, and really just dominated midfield, like the back end, really like the entire second half. I was like, the ball has not gone past the 50. Due to Maddie Powell, Rowan Apazos, Gigi Nicastro is a phenomenal midfielder. So just a dominant win. It's kind of so I didn't check, but if they were still in D5, would they be the 1 seed?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're up in D4 now, and they're in the teens.
To be clear, it would have been this last week that made them there. Granby is still the 1 seed, and Granby had a better record than them for a while. Greylock had a great close to the season. But yes, if they were in D5, they would be the 1 seed, and now they're like the 14th seed because they're up in D4. So
bummer there, but we'll see what they can do.
Yeah,
I have faith that they can play with pretty much anybody.
They'll move up a little bit from this win. We're going to take a little break, and then we will break down, because the state volleyball brackets are out. We had Western Mass Volleyball Finals this past weekend, so we'll talk about that when we come back.
Football.
But keep it here on WTBR and WSBR.
At Pittsfield Community Television, we have a saying: anyone can learn to create television. With the support of trained production staff, we can teach you how to professionally operate a camcorder, use editing software to tell a story, work as a team in a production studio, and take those skills into the community. If you've been curious as to how video production works, we'd love to have you as a member. Visit us online at pittsfieldtv.org or call us at 445-4234 for more information.
Hi, this is Sean Sayre, Executive Director of PCTV. When Taconic High School was demolished, we could have lost this radio station. Instead, PCTV stepped in, built a new studio and transmitter, and gave the station new life. And now it's time to pay that back. Support this station today. Go to WTBR-FM.com and click the donate button. You won't be sorry. Pittsfield Community Radio thanks you for your support.
Welcome back. This is Bird's Eye View. Jesse and Mike here. We had just talked about the Western Mass Soccer Championships. Boys and girls from Mount Greylock both won in Class C. That was yesterday. In volleyball news, this past weekend we had 2 volleyball championships with Berkshire teams. We had Wacona lose to East Longmeadow in the Class B final. I was there. That was at Chicopee Comp. It was a 3-0 East Longmeadow win. East Longmeadow was just better. That was the long and the short of it. They were tough. They were a bigger team. They had better outside hitters. They were just better. They're in D3. Wacona's in D4. Wacona is the 9th seed in the D4 state tournament, so that's kind of tough because they're the 8th seed. They would get to get one extra home game. They do not.
Yeah, as is. Yeah, if they win, they go to whatever Ursuline Academy.
Ursuline Academy, most likely, which is in Dedham. And they do host a Western Mass opponent, South Hadley, which is the 24 seed. So
Saturday night at 6, I want to say. Or actually, 5.
I believe it's 5.
5. Lee is tonight at 6.
Right. And yeah, so, but let's talk about the big one, though, because for the last 3 years, speaking of Greylock teams, the last 3 years, Lennox faced off against Greylock in the Class C volleyball final. And the last 3 years took the worst of it. And so, including last year, I saw the game. It was a reverse sweep. Lennox won the first 2 sets, and Greylock won 3 straight.
It's tough.
And yeah, very tough. So this year, in a rematch, Lennox finally got it done. 1 in 3 sets. Big win, first Western Mass volleyball title. Yeah, it was big. I guess, were you there? You were not there.
No, I had soccer duty all Saturday for Western Mass semis of the finals that we just talked about. But no, definitely a long time coming for Lennox, and a program that's cycled through a lot of good players, a handful of coaches, but has kind of been
Never quite good
beyond
enough.
knocking at the door, I would say. Like, they've been there with Wacona and Greylock and Lee, but if you look back probably 5 years maybe, this kind of started. They turned it around. They started building towards this, where really when Berkshire volleyball as a whole kind of rose to the level of Lee. I would say Lee was probably the standard bearer for a while, and then Greylock came up. Everything Greg Geyer's built there. Wacona's kind of taken another step the past few years, won their first Western Mass title last year. Lennox has been, not like kid brother to that, but a little bit of that, like, okay, when's it our turn to kind of take over the mantle here? And they were did they win a league title last? Or the Berkshire League is new this year, so
yeah.
So they win that and then come out, and yeah, this was a big question, a big worry almost, like if we just extrapolate it beyond this to Lennox's other girls' sports over the last 3 years, call it.
Unable to get it done.
Won a lot
game.
of regular season games.
Yeah.
Haven't won any big games like
They
this.
don't have anything to show for it.
Yeah.
They lost 2 straight Class C girls basketball finals.
Mm-hmm.
They, in softball, they were blown out in the semifinals after an undefeated regular
Mm-hmm.
season. They lost in states to Hoosick in the round of 16. So yeah, a lot of missed opportunities. It seems. What's up, Hank? Again. Yeah,
so this is a big deal. Yeah,
it's a big deal.
A knocking down of a door.
And this was a very young Greylock team. This was a Greylock team that in a year or two is going to be really, really, really good. But still, Greylock had beaten them once this season. That was their only loss. That was Lennox's only loss.
Mm-hmm.
And to get a win like that, a 3-set win, is still pretty impressive. And the as good as that, Lennox had been outside the top 4 in the D5 in the state rankings, and that win pushed them into the top 4. And the top 4 is critical because
it's like
if
a tenth
you are
of a point, gets them in there.
right, and so if you are a top 4 seed in your division, you have home court advantage until the semifinals. So Lennox, should they keep winning, they get to be home in the first round,
Don't have to travel,
in the
baby.
round of 16, and in the quarterfinals. And that's big. Quarterfinals round, they would most likely face Whitensville Christian, which is the 5th seed. That team was state runner-up last year. So that's a very, very good team, and not having to travel. That's actually a team. So last year, Lennox hosted Lee in the 7-10 game. Lee pulled off the upset and had to go to Whitensville Christian and lost in the quarterfinals. And so, that's a very real team. That's a very good team. Lennox not having to make that trip is big.
Huge.
And so in Division 5, like I said, Lennox is the 4 seed. Not really sure yet who they face. I believe the two teams who potentially could play them played yesterday or tonight. Lee is the 11th seed. It'll host Greenfield, which is 22, so a little Western Mass on Western Mass
tonight.
action. That's tonight. Wacona, like I said, 9 versus 24. South Hadley. South Hadley, not a great record, but they do have a win over Pioneer Valley Christian, which is a pretty impressive win. Pioneer Valley Christian was the Class D champion, the 3 seed in D5. So a legitimate team, had some good height. And if South Hadley can beat them, Wacona has to take South Hadley seriously. Greylock is still 12, but they are in D4 now, so that's going to be a new one. We're going to see how they handle it. Ironically, they host 21 Wareham, and Wareham was also in D5 last year, so they're facing a team that actually isn't in D4, not a normal D4 team.
Similar to them, yeah.
And then,
that one's Sunday at 1, I want to say.
It's
2?
Definitely Sunday. It might be later than 1.
Oh.
Check
My
over.
info is all over the place.
And then in D3, Taconic is the 37th seed. They got in because they have a 10-10 record, and they are at number 28, Shawsheen Valley Tech. So they are at Shawsheen on, I think today at 5.
Yes, yep. The teams that Lennox play tonight, but Lennox does have, at least per MIA site, has their game scheduled for tomorrow at 5.
Okay, there you go.
Against either KIPP Academy or University Park Campus, which is a school, I guess.
There you go, man. These kids nowadays, they'll name their schools anything. All right, well, so that's volleyball. So, yeah, we'll really get into the brunt of the action next week. Soccer brackets for the state tournament will be coming out on Saturday, so we will be able to break that down. I mean, by the next time you hear us, we'll actually have started the soccer tournament, so we can talk about how that's going. And football, it's week 8. It's the final week of the high school football regular season. Can't believe it already hit us. Lee is 7-0. They're looking for their second straight undefeated regular season. That can happen tomorrow at 6 o'clock at BCC. They're going to play Taconic Senior Night. If they win, they get a Berkshire County Championship. Hoosick Valley is 6-1. They're playing Holyoke on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Hoosick Senior Night win makes them 7-1. Hoosick moved back up into the 4th seed in Division 8 for football, so that's a huge... if they can keep that and get home field advantage. It would, however, mean Lee is the 1 seed, so Lee and Hoosick potentially in a state semifinal game. That would be the matchup. That would be incredible. Elsewhere, Wacona got a big win over Putnam. Gritty win on senior night. They carried their seniors off the field. 26-24 was that win. Incredible play by Jerry Bobrun late in the game. Broke a 62-yard run, which then Anthony Talora scored his 3rd touchdown one play later. And so that put Wacona up 8 points. Putnam got a huge, massive 60-yard catch and run touchdown. They had one kid who was just lightning. And Wacona's Dawson Hitchcock, who is a senior, had a huge stop on the 2-point conversion to keep it a 2-point game. Anthony Talora had a big 9-yard run. And then a 5-yard run because Putnam had 2 timeouts. So they needed to run out the clock. He did that. And they were able to take a knee. So big one for Wacona. They have a very, very hard game on the road at Agawam tomorrow. Agawam went toe-to-toe with Chicopee Comp, which is currently 7-0, and in the D3 tournament. So very, very impressive season they're having. So, yeah, very tough game for Wacona. Unfortunately, I don't want to say they have to win to get in, but that's kind of how it's looking. So we're going to see how they can do, how the numbers will work itself out. Monument Mountain, tough loss on the road at Fitchburg, 22-6. Taconic had a loss to Holyoke, 42-22. They were in the game, and they kind of gave the game away in the 3rd quarter. Hoosick Valley beat East Hampton on the road, 35-12. That was a business as usual, although they did have another turnover, which is not what we want to see. Am I missing anyone else? Pittsfield lost at home to Amherst. Amherst running back is very, very, very good, and he just kind of did what he does. Had 300 yards rushing, had 4 just 60-yard plus rushing touchdowns, which is not how you're going to win any games, although then you can look at it and say, well, if you take that away. Their defense did all right. Ben Tilburg-Campoli had a rushing touchdown. He had 113 rushing yards. And McCann had a loss to Pathfinder. They lost 58-32. Offense finally found some rhythm. The defense was the issue. But at least if one side of the ball is figuring itself out, that is good as they end the season. Maybe they can get a win. Who do they play? They play one final team that I am blanking on currently. Belchertown, excuse me. That's Saturday night. Belchertown at McCann, 6 o'clock. And yeah, Monument hosts Pathfinder tomorrow. If Monument wins, it wins its league title. But that's about all we have time for. You can see Henry is telling us it's time to clock off. So I will oblige him here as we run down the clock. So Sunday is when the football state brackets come out, and we will figure out who's where. So Thursday, we can preview all that game action for states. But this has been Bird's Eye View. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good rest of your week. Have a good weekend, and take it easy.